This video will contain spoilers. I am recovering from a cold, so there may be more pauses than usual so that I can blow my nose and stuff like that, and I'm probably going to sound different, and I do want to limit my words because it does kind of hurt to talk. But moving on. The Running Man. Universally negative ratings. I watched it on Sky. Arnold. Stephen King does not appear in it. McFleetwood. I really like these 80s Stephen E. D'Souza movies. I think, even though he probably butchered the source material, I don't know because I have not read a single Stephen King book. I just feel like his films always have a certain 80s charm to it. But as for the film itself, I think it's pretty good. Like the whole dystopian stuff, I didn't expect it to be as much as it was. I thought it was just going to be, oh, let's have this show, and then maybe Steven's commentary on it is the TV, and in particular reality TV, is just like this is the be all end all of it. I seen this a while back. I don't really have much to say. It's a little boring with the fact that really all it is that the game starts, and then one hunter comes after him and he kills that hunter. Then a second hunter comes and he kills that hunter, and then a third one kills him, and so on. I wasn't expecting it to be like, this big budget action film where there's explosions and everyone's dying, like body count in the hundreds. I wasn't expecting that, but it's just I thought it'd be a little bit more. Like I did not know that it was just particular hunters. I thought it was like they send him out into public and it's up to the public to kill him. And then the one person that does it gets like a cash reward or something. Also, something like that I don't like about these 80s action films is that there always has to be a love interest, and it's just why? And it doesn't even make any fucking sense in this case. Like, I do like how it starts out where, you know, she believes what she's being told, but then the media just lies, and she's like, hold on, that's not true. He didn't kill anyone. So she starts to side with him, and then the kidnapper and put her in the game as well. But that doesn't mean they need to fall in love by the end of the film. Like, you can just avoid all that. I mentioned in my elementary review, my final review for it, and also my final review for The Mentalist, that as much as I like romance shit and all that, like, I do like it in well, not that I like it, but it's just it's whatever. And some shows like I'd seen it in Castle and then Bones and all that, and I thought that if there was one show that wasn't going to do it, it'd be The Mentalist, because The Mentalist is one of the smartest ones writing wise. But no, The Mentalist did it as well. It was actually Elementary that didn't do it, which is weird because Elementary is just a shitty Mentalist. I'm just tired of like the whole oh, there's a male main character and a female main character. They must fall in love by the end. No, they don't. They don't have to. Especially if their like personality is different. Like they can be friends. I got no problem with that. But they don't need to fall in love every time. Scary Movie 3. Mixed ratings. I watched it on Sky. Anna Faris, Charlie Sheen, Leslie Nielsen. I'm gonna do something about all this before I move on. I've taken some tablets, but that's just it's not the like a long term solution, but it's the best I can do for now. I'm also not going to bother with pausing the video anymore if I have to clear my phone or anything like that. So I'm sorry that you're going to have to deal with that. Regina Hall, Simon Rex, didn't know that was him. Pamela Anderson, Kevin Hart, Denise Richards, Queen Latifah, Cameron Mineham. I have a cold. Fuck off. George Carlin, Method Man, RZA, Simon Cowell. Craig Mazin. I'm guessing he wrote part of it, or he's a producer or something, because I know he was a big comedy guy before he did Chernobyl. I had this on my Skybox for quite a long time, but because me and Ben Man had seen the first two, I thought, right, I'm gonna wait until the third one is on something, then we'll watch it together, because I think he likes the third one as well. I think the only one that he just does not like is 5. But then I thought, you know what? He doesn't have a PlayStation anymore, so fuck it. Might as well. He does have his PlayStation back. He got it back literally the day before Ghost of Yotei came out. This movie's great. Before I went into it, I had seen clips and shit, and I was confused because I thought it had seemed like Charlie Sheen was the main character, and that either Anna Faris just was not in it at all, or she had a much stripped back role. And I knew it couldn't be that she wasn't in it because I know that she is the main character for the first 4. It's great seeing some people in here like Leslie Nielsen and all that, like fucking legend. But then there's also people that I wasn't expecting George Carlin, and this was in like 3 years before he died, I think. And I wasn't expecting. Well, I'd seen the clip with the hat, so I knew Cameron Manheim was in it, but that's still weird. I thought this was the one that had the parody of The Grudge. The scene where they're speaking Japanese, but really it's just they're naming like Japanese car brands and stuff like that. I have never seen Signs. I don't want to see Signs. I don't like M. Night Shyamalan, and it's just that I hadn't seen that scene, like the iconic scene from Signs, until I was 20, I think, maybe 19. But it's still like got me. I was like, ugh. But I do like this parody of it. Yeah, it's a scary movie. Like, there's not much I can really say. Hannah, the movie, or I might just say hanna11 on it. I don't know. Mixed ratings. I watched it on Sky. Saoirse Ronan, Cate Blanchett, Eric Bana, Olivia Williams, Tom Hollander. Michelle Dockery. D. Bradley Baker, apparently. um, this film kind of feels like if there was a cinephile action film. I wasn't expecting that because my dad loves this film. And he just does not like cinephile things at all because he is the kind of person that he he's been getting pretty fucking weird with how he does things in the past couple of years. It's like lockdown just fucked with his head so much that he's actually just become like a retard. He refuses to watch the Batman for no reason. He loves Batman, like he loves the first two with Michael Keaton. Don't know what his opinion is on Val Kilmer or George Clooney. Loves the Dark Knight trilogy. Doesn't like Ben Affleck because he's a poof, but just refuses to watch the Batman for no reason. But then he watched the Penguin, but he didn't know that it was connected to the Batman because he just is a fucking mongoloid like that. All he really watches now is Family Guy and DVD movies. But point being, I didn't expect him to. Because he likes this, I thought it was going to be more sort of. More Hollywood. Like, more action and all that. And I didn't even consider the fact that Saoirse Ronan was like 15, I think, when she did this. And because of her age, there are some things that they can't do. Like they can't have her being extremely violent. And it wasn't like I was expecting the film to be extremely violent, but I was expecting there to be like a substantial body count, and there just isn't. Like she only kills like two, maybe three people in the entire film. So if I knew all that going into it, maybe I would enjoy it more. But I was, I expect an action film, and I didn't get an action film, so I was a bit disappointed. But that's not the film's fault. That's just somewhat my fault. Mostly my fault, but the blame doesn't fall exclusively on me. I do like how the opening and the ending mirror each other, where it's like, "Oh, I'm sorry, bang." I don't get the whole thing of her following this family. Like, it's just weird. Fire Country, mixed ratings. I watched it on Sky. Jared Padalecki, I did not know he was in that. Kevin Alejandro, Fiona Renee, Marina Baccarin. Uh, I was I was interested in watching this because when it comes to like procedural shit, you can split it into basically four sort of categories. You got police, medicine, law, and fire. Fire is very, very underrepresented. Like, really, the only shows I can think of are Station 19, Fire Country, Chicago Fire. I guess rescue me, but it's a show on FX, so I wouldn't really count it. So I was looking forward to watching this because it's more unique than, say, Sheriff Country, because we have got plenty of shows, not necessarily by the sheriffs, but I think when it comes to making a show, the fact that it's sheriffs doesn't really make a difference to police procedurals. But moving on. The premise of it did kind of seem a bit weird with like the whole prisoner stuff, but then I was doing a sit, as they call it in work, where like I'm just sitting with the client. Most of the time, we're just watching TV. It varies by client, but this one particular client was watching the Challenge channel, which they just play game shows. And on every ad break, they played an ad for Fire Country, and the main character, like, he said something to another character. He was like, "I need to fight these fires." I'm going like, "There's no fucking way that's like a real line." That sounds like the kind of thing that whenever there's a movie within a movie, like that's the kind of cringe dialogue come up for the movie within the movie. But just what the fuck. Anyway, when I'd seen that Kevin Alejandro was in it, I texted my mate who is a big Lucifer fan. Have you seen this show? And that day we coincidentally ran into him, and he had grown out like a sort of similar mustache to the one that Kevin has in the show. And like the whole point of me texting him was going to say, like, he has this fucking mustache. This show aired like only a couple months after Lucifer ended, and it's just like he looks so much different with the mustache. I don't really know what to say about the show. Like it, I did enjoy it, but it's very, it's so unrealistic that it sort of leans into fantasy territory. Beginning and fuck it, let's do it this way. Middle review. Ghost of Yotei. I'm saying fuck it to the middle part because I originally was gonna have the middle be when I defeated 3 of the Yotei 6. Um, but I wasn't planning on playing the game this way, but it's just how I ended up playing it. And people call me a pussy for this. Go fuck yourself. I'll play the game how I want to play the game. I have been doing most of the side stuff, like getting all the hot springs and the shrines and all that first. Like it's only recently that I was like, okay, let's put a bit of a focus on the story, and then I didn't put a focus on the story. I was like, oh no, I'll do like the senseis first, or the tales, and then I'll move on to the story. But it's just I've done too much to the point where I could, like, if I were to do just the beginning review and then leave the middle review for when I defeated 3 of the 6, I wouldn't have anything to say because the gap would be too short. So I'm just gonna do both now. Is the game better than Ghost of Tsushima? I don't know. The last time I played the main game was after it came out. Like I played it release day and I beat it. I don't know how long it took, but beat it 100%. Deleted the game. That was me over and done. And then the DLC came out and I played that. So the last time I played the game was 4 years ago. So I don't really have a comment about whether or not it's better. Dylan had said that something he prefers in Yotei is the fact that you use different weapons rather than different stances. But I think really that's just a cosmetic thing. I don't think that really improves the game or makes the game worse. A lot of people have been talking shit about Atsu. I don't think like something I was hoping to avoid in the game or in discussions about the game is people talking about how attractive Atsu is, because it's 2025. I would like to prove the feminists wrong uh, in the argument of men only want one thing and it's fucking disgusting. And it's just when people there's an overwhelming amount of people who will, like, when it comes to acting or whatever, they'll only like someone if they're attractive, and that only goes to women. Like, it doesn't. They don't apply the same thing to men. So, oh, I don't like Rachel Zegler because she's ugly. She's not even. She's not that bad looking. Like, yeah, she's nowhere near perfect, and I don't like her. She's a cunt, but I don't like her because of her personality. Like, I will watch her films because she's a pretty decent actress, and like she's not. She works in Hollywood because she is a good actress. Like, she was discovered by Steven Spielberg. I'm not gonna just slander his casting. And yeah, the man's not perfect, but it's just we need to stop the like talking about women this way. And I don't mean to sound like a feminist because I'm not a feminist. I hate feminism. And I would have wanted to be able to prove to the feminists that, like, men don't just talk about women being hot and all that. I would have liked to say that's not true, but unfortunately it is true because of pricks. I was hoping that in that conversation would be avoided in this game because Atsu wears a hat, and yeah, you can disable the hat, but if, I was hoping that most people would just leave the hat as is. I took the hat off because if the game has an option that's like uh take off hat, helmet, mask, whatever you want in cutscenes, I always have it off in the cutscenes. That game doesn't have this. It's just whatever you have equipped is whatever shows up in the cutscene. So I took the hat off, and like, it is actually good looking. She's not ugly, but like, you fuckers do realize that that scar isn't like a birthmark or whatever. Like, she is a fucking, like, use whatever word you want here, samurai, warrior, onryu. I don't care. But the point is that, like, attractiveness does not matter. Stop making a big deal out of it. As for her personality, I've heard a lot of people talking shit about her personality. I like her personality. I have not finished The Quick and the Dead. I started that movie because I was waiting on my granda leaving the house so that I could watch uh, something else, Shameless, I think, and I just put that on while we were waiting on my granny getting ready so that they can leave. And from the limited amount of that movie I've seen, Atsu reminds me of Sharon Stone's character. Like, I really liked at the start of that film where she walks into a bar. Some some guy is like, "Oh, you're really pretty," and she, without even looking at him, goes, "You're not." That Atsu reminds me of that, and I love it. As for the voice acting, I don't think the voice acting is bad. I do think that whoever it was that decided that because Karen Fukuhara has limited acting experience, that she shouldn't be cast. I think you're a fucking idiot. And yeah, if you look at her IMDb page, she hasn't done much, and her first role was in Suicide Squad, which it's not a good look, but I I can imagine that the only thing that the casting director or whatever looked at was the boys, and he thought, oh, well, she doesn't talk in the boys, so like I do get that it's a voice acting performance. Like you do need to tell if they're good with their voice and all that, but one, you should at least let her audition, and two, assuming the game uses motion capture and all that, it's not just all about voice acting. Like acting is also important if you're using motion capture. No, 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 pause. um, so justice for Karen, but at the same time, whoever they got to do Atsu in the game is not doing a bad job. It's not like AC Shadows where they just can't act. Like the voice acting in the game is pretty good. Someone tried to prove that Atsu's voice actor in particular is bad because there was a scene where someone, I'm guessing Jubei, shouts at Atsu. Like it is pretty solid acting from Jubei's voice actor, and I don't know the context of it. I haven't played that mission yet, but Jubei, I'm just gonna make up a scenario here. He's like, he murdered our dad. And Atsu's just all cool, calm, and collected, and like, yes, but peace or whatever. And it's not that the voice actor can't like sort of get angry and all that in their voice acting. It's that it doesn't fit Atsu's personality. Like, really, Atsu reminds me of Gibbs from NCIS because when you take a look at Austin Stoll's Gibbs and Mark Harmon's Gibbs, they're similar, but they're different. And a lot of people talk shit about Austin Stoll because of how different it is, but I think it makes sense because Origins takes place, I think, less than a year after the death of his family. And Austin plays it more emotionally than Mark does. And it makes sense because, in the aftermath of his family being murdered, obviously he's going to be more emotional. He's going to get angrier. He's going to get more depressed, all that. But then as the years go on, it sort of subdues him. Like he becomes numb. Mark Gibbs rarely shows emotion other than mild annoyance, and it makes sense for the character and it makes sense for Atsu. Like her parents died, and she's angry initially, but then she spends 16 years training to become stronger to defeat the people that killed her parents. Obviously, in that time, she's going to become numb. So it makes sense. It's not a bad voice acting performance. Whoever it is voicing Atsu is not doing a bad job. Justice for Karen, but Erika Ishii is doing a good job. I've just looked up her name. And I did look to see like what else she's done, but the only thing I really see is that she voices a character in Apex Legends, which, yuck. I'll pause the video anytime I have to blow my nose, but I'm not going to pause whenever I have to clear my throat. um, Something that I remember from Tsushima is that if you're going for all the hot springs and the bamboo and all that, you can set your guiding wind to bring you to the nearest one that you haven't got yet, and that's how I did it. But this game doesn't have it. It has maps that you have to buy, but it's weird because the way it works is that you have a certain amount of regions in the game, and each region has an inn, and the inn has a cartographer, and the cartographer makes maps. But you initially can buy free maps from the guy. I don't think the order that these maps come in are randomized. I think it's the same every time. So, say he gives you a map for one hot spring, one bamboo strike, and one fox den. Whenever you do one of those, you can buy the next map. And then when you do the second one, you can buy the fifth map, and so on and so on and so on. But when it comes to like the first area in the game, it got to the point where he gave me things that it's not even like a thing you can do. It's just something that is just now marked on the map. It was some random location, a dye house, and I don't remember what the third thing is. I try going to the dye house, no clue what I'm doing there, because I don't see anyone. And yeah, you can unlock the fast travel for the area, which is great. And I thought maybe if I fast travel to the area, it will put me directly in front of wherever it is I need to go. I'm assuming there's a person there that I need to talk to. And if I did fast travel to it, there's no one there. So I don't know what the fuck I'm doing with that. The four of us have been playing the game sort of side by side. Like me, Ben Man, and Ginger started the game at the same time when it released. Dylan didn't join us until later because he couldn't stay up until midnight because he was working early in the morning, and then he only started playing the game after he came home from work. And it's I don't. There was something about the three of us playing the game that pissed me off. I don't know what it was, but it just did. And I'm going to move on because I don't have anything else to say about that. I am the kind of person who wants a completion list in a game. Like, I love the early AC games, for example, where you have like the DNA section and it'll show you if you want to get 100%, you need to do all the main missions, all the side missions. We're going to give you like a list of all the different side missions that there are. You've got your assassination missions, there are this many of them. You've got your race missions, there are this many of them, so on and so on. But for a game like this, it doesn't tell you anything like that. It's like, really, I'll do the main missions and then I might discover a side mission on the way to the next main mission. Uh, and yeah, it's great for like actually discovering all this stuff yourself, but it's not my style, so I don't like it. But then, as much as playing the game side by side with the others pissed me off initially, there was a sort of benefit to it because we were sort of able to tell each other about certain things that we probably wouldn't have discovered without the other person. That's all I can think of to say about the game. It's great. Stop talking shit about Atsu. Justice for Karen. Moving on, Silence Synced presents Radiohead x Nosferatu, A Symphony of Horror. Universally positive ratings. I watched it in cinema. Max Shrek. Let me explain what I just said. I like looking at the cinema website to see what's coming out, and obviously, because we're at the start of October, you're not going to be able to see everything that's coming out in December, but they will sort of show you in it long in advance events that they do. Most of the time, it's just like the opera and stuff like that. So if I look at December, uh, they've got something on the 6th, something on the 7th, and something on the 10th. On the 6th, they're playing Andre Rieu Christmas concert. I know that's not how you pronounce his name, but I don't care. They're playing that on the 6th and the 7th, and then on the 10th, they're playing the Nutcracker. But then I looked at all the way back in June, I think, or maybe July. I looked at October and I saw that they were playing Nosferatu, but it said that it was Silence Synced presents Radiohead X Nosferatu. I thought, like, what? And I looked up to see what it was, and instead of just telling you what it is, they gave me a sheet of paper when I walked in on the day, and I'm gonna read everything on this sheet of paper. Silence Synced presents F.W. Murnau's Nosferatu, soundtrack to Radiohead's I can't pronounce this word, Amnesiac and Kid. Silence Synced pairs classic silent movies with epic rock music to bring audiences a unique big screen experience. This reimagining of the iconic Nosferatu 1922 features Radiohead's Kid 2000 and Amnesiac 2001 albums. An unauthorized adaptation of Bram Stoker's Dracula, Nosferatu 2022 is the quintessential silent vampire film crafted by legendary German director F.W. Murnau. Rather than depicting Dracula as a shape-shifting monster or debonair gentleman, Murnau's Graf Orlok, as portrayed by Max Schreck, is a nightmarish, spidery creature of bulbous head and taloned claws, perhaps the most genuinely disturbing incarnation of vampirism yet envisioned. Radiohead's Amnesiac pushes boundaries, revealing a darker, more fragmented vision of their artistry. Building on the experimental groundwork of Kid, the album dives deeper into abstract soundscapes and emotional ambiguity. Tracks like Pyramid Song and You and Whose Army highlight a blend of vulnerability and sonic complexity. With its mix of electronic textures, jazz influences, and Tom York's ghostly vocals, Amnesiac challenges listeners while cementing Radiohead's refusal to follow convention. Radiohead's Kid is more than an album. It's an emotional and psychological trip. Tracks like Everything in Its Right Place and How to Disappear Completely blend surreal soundscapes with haunting lyrics, balancing the experimental with the familiar. Kid reshapes expectations and solidifies Radiohead as one of the most innovative bands of their time. Celebrate the 25th anniversary of this classic album with us. I want to make something clear. I don't think I have the patience for silent films. I'm sorry, like, I do try to be a cinephile, I do try to be patient. But silent films, I don't think I can handle. I'm also not a fan of Radiohead. So really, this just does not seem like the kind of thing that I would enjoy, but I did really enjoy myself, and I think it's because the guy that made this, he had an introduction before the film actually played, and he explained that the whole philosophy behind it is that listening and watching at the same time elevates both experiences. And I have sort of noticed that on my own because there are plenty of songs that I've heard in films that I only enjoy because they were in those films. Like, if I had heard, for example, No Sleep Till Brooklyn before I had seen Guardians, I would hate the song. And it wouldn't, like, put me off from that scene in Guardians. I would still really enjoy the scene, and I would only enjoy the music then. That's something I've noticed. I only enjoy, like, there are songs that I only enjoy after they've been in a film. And I think this is the same. Like, I don't have a problem with Radiohead. I'm just not a big fan of their music. Uh, and I seen a comment on the YouTube video for Trim Trap by Blur. Someone commented that the album 13 is the shy cousin of Kid A. And that really pissed me off because, especially now that I've listened to the entirety of Kid A, I can tell you right now, Kid A is the shy cousin of 13. But like I really enjoy like Everything in its Right Place and all that. I hadn't listened to the rest, but I feel like I don't remember what the name of the first song on Amnesiac is, but that was a really good song, and it kind of fit well for the film. I thought it was just going to be like they're going to take, say there's 20 songs in total. They will take, like, say the fifth song from Kid A, put that first, then follow it up with the first song off of Amnesiac. But no, they're playing Amnesiac start to finish, then Kid A start to finish. And I thought it was kind of weird that they're playing it in, like, they're playing like Kid A2 before they play Kid A1, basically. But when Kid A comes on and Everything in its Right Place comes on, fucking hell, it really hits it, you know? It plays at the point where Hutter, I don't remember his first name, he just woke up and he is racing against Nosferatu to get back to town. Fucking hell, it worked really, really well. And that's something else I should mention that helped me enjoy the film. Because I've seen Robert Eggers' Nosferatu, I knew like the whole sort of order of the film. I knew what scenes happened next and all that. And I think that really helped me enjoy it because I thought, right, okay, we're near to the end. Not that I wasn't enjoying myself or anything. Like I did really enjoy this, but it's just it just helped. So it's not perfect by any means. Like it's not like Dark Side of the Rainbow or anything, but I would really recommend checking it out. In February, they're going to be playing Buster Keaton's Sherlock Jr. Um, and mixing it with REM music. I only know one REM song, Losing My Religion, and I do really enjoy that song. I don't know if they're going to play it during the film. Just depends on what albums they pick. But I'm looking forward to it. Here's where we get into the spoilers territory. Him, universally negative ratings. I watched it in cinema. Tyreek Willers, Marlon Wayans, Julia Fox. Jim Jeffries. Um, I made fun of Ginger last year when he assumed that Monkey Man was directed by Jordan Peele instead of just produced by him. But the same thing happened to me. I thought that Jordan Peele directed this. He's just a producer. I was quite excited for this because it's very. I love horror films, or just really anything that's sort of random. Like, the trailer for Weapons was really, really random. And yeah, when you watch the film, uh, there is context behind everything. Like, it all does make sense when you actually watch it. With this, it makes sense, but it's just like a lot of the things you see in the film or in the trailer are hallucinations. So it still is kind of random. But that being said, it did make me realize something. I'll get on to that in a minute. I just want to make a small point about Julia Fox. I did not know that uh, Julia Fox was playing that female character. I seen I seen the character and I was like, she's very weird looking. And then her name came up in the credits, and I was like, oh yeah, I forgot that she was going to be in this. I haven't seen Julia Fox act. I don't know all that much about her. Um, I know she was in Uncut Gems. I thought Uncut Gems was just what made her famous, but I think Uncut Gems was her acting debut. I don't know if she was someone before that, like maybe she was a model or a porn star or something. But I know that she has a lot of ties to like sex, and it's not just she's hot. Like there is something, which is why I think she might have been a porn star before. I don't know, but I think it was 2 weeks ago. Gen V episode 4, I think. There's a scene where Marie is training with Cypher, and they're using goats as practice. And the first goat is named Elon, after Elon Musk, because, you know, God forbid we go a scene without some wokeness in the show. But then after she kills Elon, they bring on the second goat, and the second goat is called Julia Fox. And I'm just thinking, like, what, what the fuck did Julia Fox do? And I looked up her Wikipedia to see if there was like any sort of controversy. And I'll look it up again. But the only thing I really saw was she dated Kanye West around the time of like the start of his not liking the Jews arc. But let me bring this up. So there's a total of one, two, three, four, five, 6 paragraphs in the personal life section. The first paragraph is just about her being married to someone and then they got divorced. The second uh, paragraph is a bunch of mental conditions that she has: postpartum, bipolar, OCD, attention deficit hyperactive disorder, ADHD, alright, and autism. I didn't know that's what ADHD stood for. The third paragraph is how a friend of hers died of a fentanyl overdose. The fourth paragraph is how she was dating Kanye. Um, there is something in here. Kanye broke up with her because he didn't like when she went goblin mode. I don't understand. I'm just gonna move on. fifth paragraph, she became celibate because Roe v. Wade got a rebel. Uh, and then the sixth paragraph is she identified as a lesbian, and then she identified as pansexual. There are some red flags there, like the amount of mental condition she has is like either she's really really unlucky or she's just making it up. Like I don't mean to like say that kind of thing, but it just it rubs me the wrong way that she has all those conditions. And I mean, is it postpartum? Like when you give birth, is she even a mother? Yeah, hold on. Like, does she have kids? Okay, she does have a kid. That's okay. Uh, the like she was married, then got divorced. Nothing there. Amount of mental conditions. I mean, if true, then I'm worried about her. I hope that she gets whatever help she needs. But like when I read bipolar, it does remind me of everything that EA's been doing. But I feel like when we make memes about it and all that, we're just adding fuel to the fire. And no one's talking about Julia or anything like that, so I think that's going to happen. But it's just, for the love of God, don't. And if she does something, then yeah, like bipolar isn't like she can't use it as an excuse for everything, but it it should still be taken into consideration. The whole goblin mode thing, I'm guessing that's just part of the bipolar, maybe a combination of bipolar with some of the other conditions, and then her constantly changing her sexuality. Um, I did not realize that I've been doing this for nearly an hour. I think the problem with talking shit about her constantly changing her sexuality is the fact that Hunter Schafer does the exact same thing. I'm looking at Hunter Schafer's personal life section right now. It's a total of 5 paragraphs, but the paragraphs are a hell of a lot longer than the ones in Julia's profile because Julia's, most of them are only like 2 lines long. But the first paragraph here, in 2019, Hunter said that he is a lesbian. In 2021, he said he was bi or pan or something. Direct quote. And it's just like the second paragraph, 2019, uses she, her pronouns, uh, but also goes by MX. And it's just constant like changing it and all. So I feel like if you're gonna talk shit about one, you have to talk shit about both. And are you really about to talk shit about a trans woman for constantly changing their pronouns? Uh, but I said this was gonna be brief, and it was not. I apologize. So this film is uh it's the cut that Orlando Bloom film, but better, in my opinion. Because the whole thing, or at least my interpretation of the film, was that it's just, for the love of God, like, if you like the sport and all that, go right ahead, do what you need to do, but do not sacrifice for the sport. And this film has a hell of a lot of sacrifice, literally. Like the oh shit, all the drug taking. I thought there was going to be more cheating in the film than there was. Um, the killing, like all that, it's just I got the same sort of message out of this that I did from the cut, but I just feel like this was a better film. The low ratings I do not understand. Like it's at worst it's a 6, but like what it got a 5.3 for fucking me. Stop dropping. It got a 5.3 on IMDb, and yeah, 0.5 out of 4 on Roger Ebert. I don't get why they use 4 stars on Roger Ebert, but whatever. Like a 1 out of 8 on Roger Ebert. It's nowhere near that bad. Like, stop exaggerating. I actually can't really think of anything substantial to say. Um, I'm just gonna have to move on if there's anything to move on to. Recreation, universally positive ratings, and watching it in cinema. Aidan Gillen, excuse me. This came out a couple of weeks ago, but I initially didn't want to watch it because when you look at the website, it says documentary. In fact, I won't bring it up on my phone. I'll bring it up on my iPad and I'll just read it out. Right. Yeah, recreation genres drama documentary. When you look at the description of the film, a fictionalized courtroom trial exploring the murder of French producer Sophie Toussaint Duplantier, questioning facts and debating the innocence of her convicted murderer Ian Bailey. So, also the tagline of it is using fiction to question reality, and I don't watch documentaries, but I know that a lot of documentaries will you'll have like the people who were there in real life talking about it, and then they'll use actors to do a recreation of it, a reenactment of it. I thought that was it, and that they're just like trying to do all this shit to try and make it seem like it's more special than it is. But this film is not a documentary, like, and it is fictional. What happens? I'll I'll go over this to the best of my ability as briefly as I can. In 1996, a woman was murdered. An eyewitness had said that Ian Bailey had did it. Ian Bailey was arrested, but eventually they decided that the eyewitness was unreliable, so they let him go. 20 years later, a court in France had held a trial to determine if Ian Bailey was innocent or guilty. They determined he was guilty, and they had tried to extradite him, but the Irish government refused to extradite him. And then, not long after, he died. So, the point of the film was that the two guys that directed it, they realized that the investigation into what had happened was done extremely poorly. I don't know why they decided that the eyewitness was unreliable, but basically there's some evidence in France that could have been really helpful to the investigation, but the French government did not allow the like they didn't cooperate. And basically with the technology that we have now, they could have gone over the case again and determined that it it most likely was not Ian Bailey. And like they're doing that with cold cases from the 70s. Uh, so the point of the film was it's a hypothetical. What if it did go to trial? And the trailer will make you. Speaking of the trailer, because of the title of the film, it's really, really hard to find. Like I'm surprised I found this Google thing. I thought I was going to have to open up IMDb and go on that, or go on the cinema website and look at my ticket. But the trailer makes you think it's a trial film, and you know you've Aidan Gillen right there. He plays whatever the Irish equivalent of the DA is. Aidan only has two shots in the film. There's a shot of him walking into the courthouse, and then there's the shot of him giving his closing argument, where he just says, "You know, this man is guilty. Vote him guilty," and then he doesn't appear in the film again. The rest of the film is basically just 12 Angry Men, where I'm guessing there's 12 jurors in this. I don't know much about how juries work. Um, but everyone bar one votes guilty. And then the person that voted not guilty argues as to why, and then eventually convinces everyone that Ian is not guilty. And the conclusion they come to at the end of the film is that the supposed murder weapon was this like really big and heavy rock, and the what's the word I'm thinking of? Fuck. What they what the police's hypothesis is that Ian hit her in the head with the rock, and that's how she died. Um, but the jury sort of recreate the murder, and they realize that, hold on, the police say Ian hit the girl like in the head, like they were facing each other when she died, when he hit her. But it's a big heavy rock. You can't just like hit someone with it in a fraction of a second. Like you need to put in the effort, and it takes a while, enough time for your victim to react, and she will react, she will back away, scream, run, stuff like that, and she didn't. So that's why they think he didn't do it. And as much as I was kind of disappointed with the film because I thought it was a trial film, not a jury film, and all that, that conclusion made it all worth it, because it's like, God damn, this film is not the special thing they think it is, but it still is pretty fucking interesting.